Surigao no, ano, ano man taghimo ijo kay Barbers, no? Ang dugay, napakadugay na ng mga barbers sa Surigao, tapos kuwang pa nagkakaroon ng issue ng droga. Talagang fake news kayo ah. Fake news ang dating nyo dahil kung saan si Barbers nag-imbestiga na siya yung lead na sa quad committee hearing, ginagawa na naman yun ng mga kwento para sirain nyo ang Quadcom at saka yung mga congressman na nag-iimbestiga. Talagang ibang klase talaga kayo, no? So dapat pakinggan nyo kung ano yung tama dahil yun ay para sa bayan at yun ay investigasyon naman. So malinaw na talagang hindi kayo para sa tama at matuwid. Dinidipinsa lang nyo kung ano yung mga mali na ginawa ng mga amo nyo, no? So kung titingnan, dahil nagalit kayo at gumawa kayo ng mga fake news at disinformation, dahil unang-una kay Matubato, no? Na siyang original na Lambada Voice, no? Talagang insider siya, hindi siya yung hersey. Kay Las Cañas, ano? Talagang insider si Las Cañas. Pagka nakirinig nyo ng mga kwento, karumal-dumal ang mga ginagawa nilang krimen. Karumal-dumal ang sinusunod nilang pinatupad ng Birdugo ng Davao, no? Ano nangyari doon? Galing kay Jumpala at saka yung mga inimbestigahan ni Senador Laila de Lima nung sa human rights pa siya. Tingnan nyo lahat kung gaano karumal-dumal kalapastangan ang ginagawa, no? Ng dating amo nyo. So anong ginagawa doon? Galing sa kay Laila de Lima investigasyon sa human rights, yung mga buto roon, yung mga investigasyon sa laut. Kay Las Cañas, kaya Serto, tungkol naman doon sa droga na ginagawa doon sa Dumoy. Anong mga nangyari sa Pugo, sa China, no? 'Di ba lumalabas na lahat ng mga karumihan, sabi nga ni Attorney Insurrecto, lahat na ng mga kriminalidad, no? Ginawas na at nilabas na doon sa kay Michael Yang na siyang advisor. Sabi ni Kaper Silapid, anong ma-advise ni Michael Yang sa pugo, yung droga, yung pagpagawa ng mga pugo? Nadagdagan ang lalo ang kriminalidad at ang pagkampi sa China at yung piki na anti-communism na kung saan siya mismo sa mga komunista ang pumunta, no? Sa mga NPE. So makikita natin na malinaw naman ang China at saka Russia, yung mga pangunahing komunista na pinakakaibigan niya. Malinaw naman na ang droga, no, na si Michael Yang na na-involve at nalaman doon sa Pugo sa Purak, Pampanga sa investigasyon at ang mga krimen sa human trafficking, abduction, torture, no, at saka mga panghahalay, no, rape, murder. Diyan ayaw nyo mabunyag at makita kung ano yung kasamaan at ma-improve na magkakaroon ng legislation para ma-upgrade o mabago kung ano yung mga babaguhin at magawa ng batas kung ano yung bagong gagawin. Anong ginagawa nyo? Gumagawa kayo ng fake news. Pati China, kinampihan nyo. Pati mga masamang gawain. Anong makukuha nyo doon sa pagsuporta nyo sa masama? Dahil ba nagkapera kayo? Yung iba dyan nagkapera. Yung iba dahil sa content na dumadami yung mga content na followers nyo, kahit na masama, ipatronize nyo at palakpakan nyo. Anong klaseng mga tao kayo, no? Doon kayo sa matuwid at tayo naman ay hindi naman tayo manatili sa mundo nito, pero ang ginagawa ni Barbers at mga congressman ay ginagawa nila kung ano yung tama para sa bayan at magandang legislation. So dito makikita natin na ang pagkampi sa masama at mabuti, malalaman natin kung sino yung mga taong kumakampi sa matuwid at sino yung mga taong kumakampi sa masama. So wag kayong magpabudol o wag kayong magpagamit dahil hindi lahat ng panahon ay sila ang namamahala, kundi may panahon na rin na ang Panginoon na mismo ang nagbigay ng daan para mapanagot sa ginawa nilang 32,000 to 36,000 na mga extrajudicial killing, at yun ay karumal-dumal at hindi na pwedeng mabayaran at maibalik ang mga buhay ng mga nangamatay. So yun ay ang Panginoon mismo ang nagbigay ng daan para magkakaroon sila ng pag-away-away, para magkakaroon na mapanagot sila dahil napatiklop ng dating administrasyon ang mga taong nasa hustisya, ang mga matataas sa hustisya, ang mga nasa armed forces. Nagkakaroon pa sila ng mga incentives. Sabi nga ni Lieutenant Colonel Espinido na pinaka crime syndicate, no, ang mga pulis kasabwat, at lahat tinatakot at natakot naman. At kahit na ngayon mayroon pa rin nauuto o kaya nakikinabang sa mga kapangyarihan at nakikinabang sa kanilang mga kayamanan na kumikita rin sila. Pero hindi kayo magtatagumpay. Babalik rin sa inyo ang ginagawa nyo, at huwag kayong susunod sa masama, dahil ang mga taong mas sumusunod sa masama ay masama rin sila sa kung ano yung ginagawa ng amo niya. Maging kayo ay hindi naman kayo direct participant, hindi kayo yung actor, pero kayo ay mga nag-facilitate na naging katulad na rin kayo sa kanila. So suportahan natin si Barbers, suportahan natin ang Kongreso, at suportahan natin ang tama, at tayo maging malusog na bansa at na maging mag-prosper tayo pagka tayo tulong-tulong at kontrahin natin ang masama.
Mr. Chairman, this is very short, Mr. Chairman. As the proponent of the privilege speech that was delivered last year, with respect to the issues in the social media, allow this representation to deliver a very short opening remark, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga, mga kasamahan, honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today not to silence voices, suppress free speech, or curtail the constitutional right to freedom of expression. Instead, we are here to draw the line between responsible discourse and the deliberate, systematic abuse of digital platforms to spread lies, destroy reputations, and manipulate public perception. This hearing seeks to establish a regulatory framework for social media similar to how the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas, or the KBP, regulates television and radio broadcasters, and how the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, or the NUJP, upholds ethical standards for print media. Our goal is to develop a code of conduct for content creators, ensuring accountability and ethical responsibility in this rapidly evolving digital space. While we uphold the constitutional right to freedom of speech, we must also recognize the urgent need for regulation to prevent the misuse of digital platforms. The lack of oversight has allowed vloggers and online influencers to freely spread harmful narratives without fact-checking or ethical accountability. To address this, social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook must be treated as legitimate businesses requiring a franchise or accreditation system. By holding these platforms accountable for monitoring and removing defamatory content, we can foster a safer and more responsible digital environment. This measure will not only encourage ethical content creation, but also curb the spread of libelous and misleading information. Just as traditional media operates under legal and ethical standards. Vloggers and online influencers must also be subject to similar regulations to prevent the reckless dissemination of falsehoods. In recent years, we have witnessed the alarming rise of trolls, vloggers, and malicious online actors who, under the guise of exercising free speech, systematically spread fake news and engage in character assassination. These individuals and groups, operating with seeming impunity, have poisoned public discourse and in many instances tarnished the reputation of those who dare challenge their narratives. Despite the existence of laws such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act, Filipinos remain vulnerable to online deception, harassment, and digital attacks that threaten not only individual lives but also the integrity of our democracy. The reality is that these network of trolls are not simply expressing opinions. They are engaged in a well-orchestrated, well-funded campaign to spread disinformation, manipulate public perception, and destabilize institutions. The sources of funding for these operations remain in the shadows, possibly linked to illicit activities such as POGO operations or criminal syndicates. These financial resources are weaponized to create chaos, erode trust in government, undermine the media, and weaken our democratic foundations. Ironically, but not surprisingly, none of these actors speak out against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea, proving our suspicion of illegal foreign funding. Let us be clear. This is no longer a mere issue of online criticism. What we are facing is a calculated effort to deceive, defame, and discredit those who seek to uphold the truth. These trolls are mercenaries of disinformation, paid to disrupt, confuse, and divide. Their mission is to drown out facts, distort the truth, and silence those who speak out against corruption and injustice. We too have not been spared. As public servants, we have been personally targeted by these malicious actors. Myself, my colleagues, and even the President. We accept criticism when it pertains to our official duties. But it is evident that these attacks go beyond public accountability. Their true intent is to discredit us before the electorate and the people we serve through personal and baseless attacks. The Supreme Court in Labargan versus People of the Philippines, GR number 246824, citing the Care Jr. versus People in GR number 206015, ruled that, and I quote, offensive imputations against public officers do not constitute defamation if these relate to their discharge of official duties unless the prosecution proves actual malice. Defamatory utterances are malicious when made with knowledge that they were false or with reckless disregard as to its falsity, unquote. But this issue is bigger than any individual case, Mr. Chairman. This is about every Filipino who has been a victim of online harassment, cyber libel, and digital deception. If we continue to ignore this growing problem, we are failing the people we have sworn to protect. Social media should never be a tool for personal attacks or harassments or the destruction of reputations. Those who exploit these platforms to spread black propaganda, lies, and harm others must be held accountable. We have also received reports of vloggers soliciting donations under the pretense of funding their content, only to be involved in scams and online fraud. All this must stop, Mr. Chair. Today, we commit ourselves to finding solutions. We will explore ways to protect the public from the dangers of fake news and disinformation while ensuring that our digital spaces remain safe, ethical, and credible for future generations. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.